Yeah. Okay. Hopefully the third time's a charm. Welcome to our MidLife Girl Chat. Um, I'm waiting to see if we can connect with Melanie here. Um, while we're waiting, it's been okay. I was gonna say most weeks I don't think that things work really well with technology trying to get this connected. Um, so It's it's exciting. Love it. Gotta love it. Life is always exciting and something new is happening, right? And then so we're back here with her with wait, and then everybody's like dinging my phone here. So how's everybody's week going so far? I know it's only a Monday, and it has been a crazy Monday. Hopefully I can catch it here. Okay, working on her in here. So this works this time and we can hear each other. There we go.
Hi, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I had my tablet. I was like trying to use my tablet instead of my phone, and my tablet's old. So it just was not doing its thing today.
We
So,
got
anyway,
here, yes.
yay! I am so glad we got to connect. So, was just saying that we have you coming on, and we're going to talk about shenanigans in midlife. And so, I will let you introduce yourself and tell us all what you do.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody on Facebook. My name is Melanie Bonk. I am a certified love, sex, and relationship coach. I help women come into their pleasure. I help them ditch the conditioning, the stories, the imprints that hold our pleasure small, that keep it contained in this nice little neat box. And I gently guide them into reawakening their wildness, their primalness, this beautiful force of pleasure that our bodies are literally built to experience and designed with pleasure in mind, and the amazing ways we can use pleasure to manifest, to create power, to really create that vibrancy in the world that is so contagious. I also work with couples, and I help them gain emotional intelligence. I help them gain the tools for soulful communication, and then I also help them rediscover what sexuality means to them and have them write their own rules for their sex life. So I am in all the juicy areas, and I love it, and I am here to help you bonk better. It's in my name.
I love that, because relationships in midlife is a struggle. I think that's where my husband and I kind of disconnected, was this midlife. Boys are growing up, and we both shifted in different ways, and my body was shifting in another way, and it just, yeah, that's where I think some of the relationship stuff starts to, I don't know if I want to say fall apart per se, but definitely gets different.
Excellent. Are
So,
you there? There's a little bit of a
yeah.
lag,
Oh, is there
but yeah,
my
but it's coming through.
okay, okay, good. I know my I don't know, it must be my vibration today. Right? It has been something else getting on here.
It has. Yep.
So I think you heard exactly what I said about the midlife and relationships and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that did come through. I received that.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
it's really fascinating working with couples, especially couples with kids. Usually our triggers, our inner wounds get activated when our kids has hit a certain age, maybe the age that we received trauma at. And there's also all of this unpacking you need to do with your partner, because there's certain triggers that only your romantic partner in life will actually trigger, and those wounds will come back up from early childhood. So there's so many layers and areas for opportunity, but I mean, if you're like me, I didn't necessarily have the best role models. Usually we learn from our caregivers. So looking at
Yeah.
how our caregivers communicated and how they dealt with crisis in the relationship, how they were romantic with each other, that all trickles down into how you present in your partnership today.
That's really interesting because my husband was the touchy-feely, want to cuddle person. I think my job was so touchy-feely by the time we got to the end of the day, I didn't want to be touched anymore. Um, but he was right. He's from Mexico, and his parents taught them that there is no PDA, whatever. Like he would not hold my hand while we were walking. He would not. The only time was when we were at a dance and we were dancing. Otherwise, it was like hands off. I'm just like, but yet he's the one that went all out, I guess, or whatever. And I don't know where I started on the relationship thing. Yeah, he was the one when he was told to be more hands off with it. There was a thought there when I started that whole conversation. My energy's really off today, I think.
Or it's right on. I love it.
It's Monday. What can we say?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah. So like do you when you're working with couples, like the midlife thing there too, that is just such a huge critical time. I mean, well, I guess there's different points, when you
Mm-hmm.
first get in a relationship. When you first have kids, that becomes like a whole different story. And then, going through that perimenopause, menopause journey, that was another
Mm-hmm.
story. So there's just so much going on in
Yeah,
each little stage there
I
too.
know. I'm entering in perimenopause phase right now, and I think I'm kind of waiting for some kind of like clear signal that's like, hey, this is it. But I'm noticing how I'm definitely more tired in that fall week. I like to think of my cycles as the whole seasons. So
Yep.
so in my fall week, I am just exhausted and starving and short, and it just seems like that fall is really getting stretched out. I feel like
Longer and
a little bit
longer.
longer, and I'm wondering if that's maybe one of the clues that
You're
that Perry is in my future.
Yeah, yeah. We can start as early as our early 40s. So just that, yeah. There we go. Yeah.
There we go.
Actually, we can start as early as 30, late 30s, but typically about 45 is when that whole process really starts to kick in. So, and I know probably one of my first signs that I didn't realize was a sign that I was going through this process was the pain when, it hurt. And that didn't make things want to be any fun because it just hurts.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's definitely one of the areas where I help my clients experience pleasure on a daily basis and have them become their own giver of that pleasure. And pleasure can really be anything. So I think having a conversation about what pleasure is and opening it up to such an expansive view as opposed to just, I'm going to put my hands on my genitals and give myself pleasure. A pleasure can be such a beautifully cooked meal that you cook for yourself. It could be reading a book. It could be laying in a bathtub. It can be just resting, laying in a bed and not moving or feeling like you need to do anything. And so that's one of the new areas of pleasure. I'm finding myself. I'm like, I just need to go rest for a moment and
Mhm.
take 20 minutes. And that's something that I think in my late 30s I would just push and drive right through and ignore all those signs.
You don't anymore, do you?
No.
No. Yeah. So, God dang it, there was a thought there again, too, as you were saying that. Yeah. Oh, I know. I was going to say, because, yeah, women in this age, it's harder to get that. Oh, what do I want to? Oh my God, this is going to be one of those days that to get to that point where you're ready for sex, I guess is what I want to
Mm-hmm.
say. It just takes longer. You get there,
Yeah.
but you got to start sooner and get things
Mm-hmm.
going, like you said, and do some pleasure, whatever pleasure works for you beforehand, too.
Yeah, yeah, and for sure, for I know for me, I really need that some kind of transition space. So I can't go from mom, boss, business owner, sex goddess. There has to be something in the middle,
Right.
that transition. So that transition is key. And so I've developed my own personal ritual where I take a delicious shower. I just let the water really wash the day off of me. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of do that thing where I file all of those kind of like tasks and to do things, all the things that's like left over up in my brain. I file those away till tomorrow. I let them fall off of my shoulders with the water. And then I come out of the shower and I give myself a beautiful sensual massage with lotion or oil. I've been using some really delicious natural oils. And that, then I can transition into like, okay, what am I going to do for the rest of my evening? But if I'm not meeting myself here in this space, there's no way I can give myself any part of myself to anybody else.
It's just hard. Yeah, like I said, my day job is such a touchy-feely. I've got kids all over me, toddlers and babies, and then I come home and yeah, I had teenagers and trying to get meals and getting things cleaned up for meals and sports events, and it's it's hard and getting
Yeah.
that time. And my husband would just be like laying in bed and I'd come to bed and he'd go like, okay, let's go. No, no, we need time to prepare. It's not like when we were in our 20s and
Yeah.
30s.
And with that preparation, with that ritual time, with that pleasure I'm going to give myself first, the pleasure I experience with my partner is so much more rich. Those orgasms are so much bigger. They are like this nourishing, healing gift that I can receive. But if we're going to do it all before that, then they kind of get like, I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not quite as, you don't have that depth and that richness and that nourishment from when you're really taking care of yourself, when you can drop into that space, when you can get out of the brain and into the body and experience
Mm,
pleasure.
there you go. That's a good to say that to get out of your brain, get out of your head. Because I get told all the time I need to get out of my head and into my heart and down
Mm-hmm.
here instead of up here because my brain runs a million miles a minute. So
And
um,
how did you find ways to do that?
I didn't. I did, it would just be like, okay, I'm going to bed. And then my husband would be like, okay, let's go. And I'd be like, oh, honestly, I'm just too tired today
Mm-hmm.
to, so I didn't have that disconnect time, I guess, at the end of
Mm-hmm.
a day because especially when the boys were older and we were in sports and it was just run, run, run and
Mm-hmm.
slam into bed. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. How many boys do you have?
I have two
Two. Oh my
boys and
gosh.
a stepson that's so
Mm-hmm.
we have in a 3 year time period we have three
Three
boys and
boys. Beautiful.
they
I
were
got
they were
four.
oh boy. Yes, and those boys keep you going and we played sports and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So give everybody an idea, kind of some things that they can do to make that evening transition from like being in my head to be down into my body now. Can you give us some ideas of things
Yeah.
people can do?
Well, I would say the first thing that any especially busy mama can do is delegate. We definitely bring in this energy of we'll do it all. We can just get it done faster. Let's be real. We'll also get it done the way we want it then. And just letting go of some of that and delegating, you guys, you kids, you now clean up, you do this, you go do that. I'm going in the bath. When I get done, I want all of this done. Don't be afraid to use that power and give them the responsibility because then they just become, I feel like, more capable humans in the long run, and that's what we're trying to do when we're raising kids, right?
Yeah.
So that's for sure. That's my first step, is to delegate, because that way I can step into that space knowing that all of the little fires are put out, all of those tasks that we do every day are dealt with, and then I can enter that space. So then creating space. So creating my bedroom, I should say our bedroom. Our bedroom is an area that is just for us. There
Mhm.
are no pictures of our boys in our bedroom. It
Okay.
is our sanctuary. there are beautiful boudoir pictures up on our walls of the two of us. There's our wedding picture. There's all kinds of elements of nature, so many plants. At night, there's soft lights, and I can change the lights depending on my mood. If I want to be kind of like connected to the water, I kind of turn this blue light on. If I want to be connected to the cosmos, I go for some like purple pinks going on. So creating a space where you can truly come home to, and you can, this is my space. This is where I get to be me. I'm not any of those other labels. You can take off the boss. You can take off the mom. I am myself in my space. That's a huge one for me. Definitely creating that transition and that break between family life and now this is my personal pleasure life. This
Yeah.
is, I'm going to go next, I'm going to go spend time with myself and my lover. Such a different feel than like, oh, all the kids are coming in here and
Right. Yeah.
yep. And then just
Yeah.
finding how it is that you want to, like I said, wash off the day, wash off your experiences and return to center. And that can involve some breath work. I teach all of my clients how to use the power of their breath. It's a tool that we all have available to us. Like you said, coming into your heart. So that to me would look like I'm breathing into my heart. I'm bringing consciousness to my breath. I'm following and tracking the breath as it goes all the way down my throat and expanding in my chest, bringing that breath down into the body as opposed to just kind of having a not so conscious thought pattern with the breathing, really focusing on even a hand on the heart, a hand on the low belly, really welcoming yourself home to the space. So it's really finding rituals. You know, as humans, we're ritualistic people. We respond to rituals, we gravitate towards them, we honor them. So why not make this ritual for yourself? Create whatever it is that you want to create that creates that ecology of relaxation, of calmness, of I am back to who I am in my body.
Nice. Nice. You know, and I even talk about, you know, for healthy sleep, especially, you know, where in this perimenopause period and the crazy hormones, sleep tends to not be as easy or as restful for us. And so creating that nightly routine to get into bedtime, into that relaxing, so you can just make that whole into it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about, you know, if you're in perimenopause like I am, our kids are usually a little bit older. They don't even need to be a ton older, but think about the amount of effort that as mothers we would put into like our baby's nighttime routine. We would draw them that bath. We would do the lotion and massage their thing, you know, massage their whole body. We would wrap them up and cuddle them. And we created this ritual for them. And now that's kind of the gift of being at this stage in our lives where we get to give that to ourselves now because we don't need to take care of such little ones anymore.
Right. It's time to take, you know, and I like to talk about that a lot is, you know, I never took care of myself. I was always the working woman, the mom, the wife, the um, team mom, the vice president of the athletic boosters, you know, the loud mom in the stands. And I just never took Kim time until Kim had a little breakdown. And then I learned to do it. But it wasn't until, of course, my boys are grown that I just figured out how to love myself too, and myself that permission to be able to take care of myself before anybody
Yeah.
else.
And hopefully even, you know, younger women learning with little ones, they can learn from our wisdom and you could start that caring for yourself the sooner the better, because when you care for yourself as a mother, you are going to show up 1,000 times more happy, more fun, more vibrant, more I want to play with that mom, she looks really cool.
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like to do that. I love to say that. It's like, you know, don't wait until you listen to our wisdom. Don't wait till you hit this point in life and then try to fix yourself because you're just fighting an uphill battle. Whereas if you can start younger.
That's right.
So, yeah, and I had my kids in my mid 30s. So it was like I was starting into that stage as I had babies. So, There was days. There was days
Oh yes, oh yes, I've had days.
when we have puberty hormones and perimenopause hormones, and yeah, yep, there was days.
Mhm.
And now they're grown men, and it just happens. But anyways, so now, okay, so here's the deal. We know that, in this midlife process, so the hormones drying up, women body parts dry up and they get, yeah, dry, and it hurts. Now,
Mhm.
do you talk to women about that at all, or?
Yeah, yeah, we can work on creating a little bit more what it takes for your particular ecology
Okay.
to thrive. So, if you need to do maybe massages with oil daily and keeping the elasticity of all the skin
Mhm.
vibrant and fresh, and I don't know if fresh is the right word, but vibrant
Nope.
and moisturized, um, and so I even guide some clients through some jade egg practices. The jade egg is an egg made out of jade. And there's crystal eggs and all kinds of different minerals and rocks for eggs you can get. But it's a beautiful practice to really create strength on the pelvic floor. You insert the egg, there's a small string, and you squeeze. You do kegels, or what I like to call push
Okay.
ups, around the egg. And that creates, for me, it creates a ton more mind body awareness into what actually is happening to me internally. Oh, now that egg is hitting this area and it feels like this. So now I'm creating mind body awareness in my vaginal canal, which is kind of a hard thing to do. Um,
Right.
yeah, so that's another way we can strengthen the pelvic floor. And then you can also go into even weighted eggs, so that there's an egg inside and then you can put a weight on the bottom. But again, I think massaging with oil is a beautiful thing. And then lube is our friend. Lube is,
So it is.
yes, it is. Yes. I was just got off the phone with a woman this weekend, or last weekend. She was like, I can't stand using lube. I feel like I'm degrading myself and I'm not doing what I should as a woman. And I'm like, that's a story we need to get out of your system, love.
Exactly. That estrogen's going, it like changes the whole landscape.
hmm So exploring what lube feels good, if it's silicone based, if it's water based, if you want to add CBD, you can find all different kinds of ways to find just the right product for you. And if there's not one out there, you can even make one. If you're using really organic material, organic oil, you can add in your own CBD. You can add in your own different kind of herbs, that with a
Nice.
bunch of research and finding what works for your flora, is a beautiful way to increase some sensitivity and some
So,
juiciness.
okay. I mean, like coconut oil, that was our go-to.
Yeah, yeah, coconut
Um,
oil.
yeah, I just think about, I went to my gynecologist and I said it hurts, and she said use this stuff like every couple of days into the vaginal canal, and use lube. And that's all I got. And of course, now several years later, it's like, oh yeah, vaginal estrogen is an okay thing now, and you
Mm-hmm.
can use that too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't use it vaginally, but I use it like in a patch. But tell you what, things feel a lot better too once I'm on the estrogen patch. Then it's just gone. Um, so um, So yeah, but it's not like the doctors are going to talk about doing those natural things, and I always prefer if I can do it without all the pharmaceutical stuff or the chemical stuff, or I want natural stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I love how you talk about using all that different stuff there.
Yeah, and even time. It really takes a solid. The average vulva takes 45 minutes to become fully aroused and engorged. So
Mhm.
if your pleasure section session is only 10 minutes long, that's not enough time for your vaginal responses to even kick in.
Mhm.
So adding length, and if that means, you're going to give yourself some sort of pleasure, which can be anything, it doesn't need to be direct stimulation, um, 20, 30 minutes before you meet your partner or before you're going to have a pleasure practice. That might be just building in that extra time. And y'all, we deserve that extra time. So take it.
That's right. We do enough in life for everybody else. Awesome. Yeah, and it's hard, and it's hard to say, how to build in that time too, but we need it for us.
Yeah. Time is that one precious resource that we can't make more of, we can't slow down, we can't speed up, we can't buy any. So giving that time to ourselves is I think really the biggest gift you can give yourself.
Nice. Um, it's one of those nights. I have a dog who has dementia, and so we don't sleep well some nights, and it's been a bad week, and so you don't get enough sleep, the brain starts to go too. So, okay, I guess I was going to say, what are some of the maybe tips, the best tips you have for couples in kind of getting to that point or working in their relationship? Because I know ours was like, we didn't talk a lot about, this is what gives me pleasure, or this is what, So what are your best tips for relationships?
Well, I always love the idea of opening up any kind of play together with some communication exercises. So when you work with me as clients, I give you tons of different ways to communicate. I teach you how to hold space. So that means you really have that permission to say what you want to say. Because I know my partner is not going to judge me or shame me or try to fix me or try to change my desires. This is a space where communication is going to be really honored. So creating some kind of communication and to talk about how you're arriving in the space, talk about what your body is being called for that day, and then talk about actual pleasure. Have a conversation about how you want to be pleasured, how you want to pleasure each other. And just notice the energy build up with that conversation. Before you even start touching each other, you can be fully clothed, but just notice the eros that builds up when you start having those conversations, when you bring pleasure and sex into the forefront and you really shine light on it. You speak truthfully and honestly about what it is that brings you pleasure. And then I also teach my clients some holistic sex tools like breath work. So using the power of your breath. When you are consciously breathing, you really can't get stuck up in your head. You can't do two things at once. Your brain's too confused. So I know that if my eyes are closed, if my breath is really shallow, I am probably in thought. I'm in some kind of story. I'm thinking about the to-do list. I mean, I am not in the moment. If my breath is open, my jaw is open, the muscles in your jaw actually equate to the muscles in your pelvic floor. When you're really clenched, your entire pelvic floor and vulva could be clenched. So relaxing, bringing pleasurable breath in and out of your body, conscious breath, following that breath all the way down your body, all the way down to your vulva. I call it pussy breathing. I don't know if we can say that on Facebook, but I just did. So breathing in and out and following that breath, imagining that if your entire vulva could just drink up air and breath and to see what that would see the difference in your pleasure. And then just for right away for couples, remove expectations. So have connection, have intimacy, have pleasure without the desire and the goal for orgasm. So go ahead and take orgasm off the table. Just make this a fun, enjoyable experience that you want to be with your partner. You want to be sharing in this space. And the minute orgasm gets removed from the table, it's not even an option. Oh, it usually comes up a lot faster then. Because it's not such a, oh my gosh, when is this going to happen? Am I going to have one? Is it going to happen for me? Just take it off the table and relax, have fun, and then have just pleasure be enough to fill your cup.
Nice. Yeah. Just to enjoy the moment, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I was going to say, really have. Okay, Kim just needs to like go to bed. Um, you can hear when we get off in the comments. Um, put your contact information. Put how people can get a hold of you if they're interested in working with you, because there's a whole other part of life right there
Yeah.
that I don't, like you're the first person I've ever like heard that does this sort of thing. And it
Oh,
was
excellent.
like when Madarima was like, "Oh, you got to connect with Melanie." I was like, "Okay." So,
Yes, it's so good. It's so good. We all have the power to have full body, head to toe, fill up every cell with nourishment, pleasure. And so those tools are available. And if you are a human on this planet, it is yours as your birthright. So if you need help with that, find your people. Your people could be me, it could be Kim, could be anybody, but you're not alone. And it has to be taught. So it's an honor to do this work.
awesome, awesome. Yeah. And and I'm sure there's like, well, and I guess the thing I think about too is in midlife here, as the estrogen drops there, and we're no longer childbearing, so the fat stores that we kept on our hips for childbearing years shifts around to the front, and we get that muffin top, and because our metabolism is slowing down, we gain weight. We feel less than sexy some days too. So that's a hard thing, and just trying to reframe your mindset about
Mm-hmm.
being sexy. It's just a whole different sexy feeling. I don't, what I
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, just finding that different mindset
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and letting go of the bullshit standards that are out there for women and what we're supposed to look like. Try to let go of that as much as you can. I love to use the earth as this role model of this divine feminine who she is bumpy, she is curvy, she is dimply, and she is round.
Uh,
And so when I connect to my lady bits that are round and not necessarily in this society standard form, I'm connecting to what is natural in me, what is primal in me, what is so beautiful, just like when we gaze at a sunset or gaze at the mountains.
mm,
It's all the same beauty.
I love that. Yeah, because we tend to talk to ourselves so bad,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I try to say, and I try to do it with myself. Find the piece that you don't like and love on it. And yes, I have that, right there, and I'm just like, ugh. But then I think, but I have two beautiful boys,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
if I didn't have those, if I didn't have this, it would mean I didn't have those boys.
That's right.
So find the ways to love on those different areas that you don't like too.
Yep. Yep. And then tell that inner critic when she can and can come out. Because sometimes
Right.
she needs to be put in her place.
That's right. Hey, we do that. We call it the itty bitty shitty committee too.
Yes.
That little committee that hides in your head and tells you
Yeah.
you're not good enough.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, yeah. So we kick those to the back, especially during
Mm-hmm.
sexy time, right?
Yeah.
Like you little voices can go away.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Give them a different job, give them a different role.
Like, yeah, you go there. Yeah. So yeah, definitely leave your stuff in here, your information. And, and I guess anything that else you would like to let people know about, or kind of any tips, anything that you. Today's just kind of been a wild one.
Yeah, it's been beautiful. It's exactly what it needs to be. I think my last comment would just be if you feel alone for any reason, you're not. We've all been there. We are together in this, and we're all sisters holding each space for each other. So you're not alone. We see you, and your people are there. So reach out.
That's right. And I always say it doesn't matter who you identify as long as you have ovaries, you're going to go through this whole perimenopause, menopause journey. And do definitely definitely, because there's so many pieces in every woman's experience, or every, whoever, whatever your identity is, everybody's experience is different. And find the support people, because that's why we're here. Like you said, we need that support to get us through.
That's right.
In whatever way, whatever form, whoever is going to like serve you best too, to help you through that. Because I took that journey on my own, and it was not fun. And that's why I'm here, because I'm at the, like, what am I? Like, I'm a Gen X, but I'm just a couple years into Gen X. And so we had the baby boomer moms and the whatever grandmothers, and they didn't talk about that stuff. Not at all. I know my mom told me she didn't have that bad of hot flashes, and that is the only thing I know about her menopause. And I was probably in college and out of the house before she hit that point, because she was 19 when she had me. So I don't know about all that stuff. And so when it hit me, I didn't realize that's what was hitting me until years later, when I started studying the menopause stuff. And I was like, whoa, if only I had known 10, 15 years ago what I know now, things would have been a lot different going through that space.
Well, thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for helping and creating a space, because I know I'm using it as a resource, and I hope that other women do too.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you. And we have I just love this. I just like rebranded, and it kind of it wasn't like I was planning to rebrand. I was just looking for a new Instagram handle, and I come up with the Menopause Rebel, and I was like, oh, holy cow, this is like it. Menopause Rebel. This is what we are. We are out here. We're going to not sit down and take it like our mothers and our grandmothers did. So I have my Facebook group, the Menopause Rebel now it's called. You can all join that, and you can check in with Melanie when you need it, and we'll get you through this phase, because it's just a short period. Even though it feels like it can be a really long period, it is just one short period in life. And then you're like free of periods, and I want to say free of kids. I mean, like, you never want to be free of your kids, but you got more freedom. And you get to do the things you want to do again.
That's right.
So
beautiful.
Well,
thank you.
You're welcome. I love this conversation. This is awesome, because this is something that I haven't really like talked about within any of my talks. So this was
I'm here for it. I'm here for all the conversations.
We may have to do that again sometime.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Now I'm like, now that we know more, I talked to him. I did, like, way back, probably it's been almost a year. And he is a menopause champion, he calls himself. And he does do some couples work. And I'm like, we need to get him back and do some more couples talk, because he can look at it from the male perspective. And
that's beautiful wisdom that's very rarely shared.
Yeah. And that was the whole deal that he went into this, because he had a partner who, he's like, things got kind of weird between him, and she broke up, and it was because she was going through this menopause thing, and she didn't know what was happening, and understanding, and how we all just kind of get a little crazy during this time period. And so he was like, I just don't want that to happen. And so there he is. And that's what he does. I know.
Yes.
I know. I'm like a man entering into the women's world of hormones.
Good luck, bro.
You're a brave soul. Anyways, well, thanks for joining me.
Yes.
Like I said, put any of your contact information, anything you want, down in the comments, and we should be all set then.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Everybody have a great week.